So surprisingly, one of the most controversial videos I've uploaded on my channel is actually my kickoff tutorial. I uploaded it when I had like 30 subscribers and I was expecting like maybe 50 to 100 people to see it, but nope. Maybe I should have put more thought into it. So I made the tutorial and it got really good feedback at first, but as it started to gain more and more views, there were more and more people saying that my kickoff strategy sucks and their own strat that they use is way better. This actually blew my mind because at the time I thought that there was simply one widely agreed correct way to do kickoffs. But apparently there's actually tons of different strategies that people use. Some people were saying they delay their kickoffs and others were saying crazy things like they backflip into the ball or something. Some of them were just straight up wrong, but others actually had some pretty good points. Especially depending on what mode you're in, there's tons of counter strategies that can be used against a standard kickoff. I also made that video before people really started using the speed flip, which is that kickoff that Musty popularized. Like, if you do a standard kickoff where you save a little boost, someone doing the speed flip is going to hit it right by you without any issue. It's pretty crazy that even after almost 4 years since this game came out, the meta for kickoffs is still evolving. So anyway, for this video, I've done some research and some experimenting on my own for different and unique kickoff strategies. And I found 3 main ones that are completely unique from a standard kickoff and they actually work super well. So without further delay, let's get started. So there's 3 different standard kickoff strategies for 2v2 and 3v3 that I'm pretty sure almost all of us know about. First one is you can try and just power your way through to the opponent's half and then follow it up. The second one is you can try and purposely lose the kickoff in a certain direction to send it back to a teammate. And the third one is you can just try and kill the ball and have your teammate cheat up so they can follow it up. These are the 3 main strategies that pretty much all of us know about, and they're pretty self-explanatory. I don't think there's a tutorial necessary to teach you how to do these kickoffs. It just takes a little bit of experimenting and practice. So I'm just going to assume you know about each of these kickoffs and jump right into the unique ones. And the third unique kickoff I'm actually really excited about, so make sure you stick around to see that. For this first unique kickoff, you may have seen it around. I'm pretty sure Jazer has done a version of it in his videos, and there are a few high-level players that do it really often. Basically, you have one guy cheat up towards the mid boost on the left, and have the other guy do a fast kickoff to try and tap it to him. You can get to it in any way possible as long as you'll be hitting it around the opponent. Some people like doing a pre-flip sort of thing to get it to them, and some people like doing a speed flip. And of course, this can be done in either direction. I prefer doing a speed flip just because it's easier for me personally, and if you don't know how to do a speed flip, Musty has a tutorial for it that you should totally check out. It's actually a really fun video. A good technique I like to use for this one is when there's a player in each diagonal position. Since it's a widely known rule that the guy on the left usually goes for the kickoff, you can instead have the guy on the right go for it, so all he has to do is touch it before the opponent and he doesn't have to worry about being too precise with it. All that actually matters is that he beats him to the ball and then it'll be a perfect pass. There is another version of this where the guy on the other side actually cheats up right next to the kickoff and it hopefully pinches right at him and then towards the goal, but it's extremely hard to pull off and it works just as well as the other version. Like I said, you may have seen this kickoff strategy before, but the next 2 are probably brand new to you, so let's go ahead and move on to those. So this second one is exclusively for 3v3 because you need one guy going for the kickoff and the other 2 to back him up. It works like this. The situation is there's one player in a diagonal position and the other 2 are somewhere back in one of these positions. It doesn't really matter which ones as long as they're somewhere back there. This diagonal player goes for the kickoff but fakes it and heads for the mid boost as the other 2 back him up. The player closest to the right puts himself about here and the other puts himself about here. Depending on where the ball goes, one of these players will take possession. The player over here closer to the side needs to call out if he's going for it or not. If it's behind him, then he obviously can't go for it, but if it's in front of him, then he has the priority. If it comes to him, he has a few options for what he can do with the ball. He can keep possession for himself and try a dribble play, or pass it to one of his teammates, but preferably this guy since he has full boost. He should usually pass it instantly to one of his teammates since the guy who just did the kickoff is likely following right behind the ball. When I was experimenting around with this one, it took a really long time for me and my team to get this down because there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. So if you're expecting to go try this out in game with your team and have it down instantly, your expectations are probably too high. It definitely takes a ton of practice to make sure you're doing it right and you don't just throw away possession. I tested this out for a few hours with some friends and we could definitely tell that there was an improvement over the course of practicing it. We got some really good clips of some instant counterattacks, but then again, when we made a mechanical mistake, we got really punished for it. So for this strategy, I only recommend it for really high level players that are super confident with their mechanical consistency. Alright, for number 3, this last one only works for 2v2, but it's a really fun one. So I'm sure almost all of you have seen the normal fake kickoff on this situation in 2s. It's pretty unique, but everyone knows about it, and once someone fakes the kickoff, the other team knows exactly what's happening. They fake the kickoff, go for the boost, and then try and do some sort of redirect play. That's your standard fake kickoff strategy. But for this strategy, instead of going for boost after the fake, the player goes for a demo on the last defender. If they get it, that's a wide open goal for their teammate. It's pretty simple, but I've actually never seen anyone go for this in any game that I've played in. The only thing that can make this strategy difficult is the fact that the last defender can dodge in pretty much any direction to avoid the demo and still have enough time to make the save. So the strategy I use to counter this is speeding up a bunch at the start, but hitting the brakes right before I pass them just to see what they do. And then I go for an actual bump once they've committed. The thing about this strategy is that it's so unique that they're probably not going to see it coming. And if you do it completely right, there's almost nothing the other team can even do about it. Of course, for all of these strategies, they're kind of just a one and done thing, since after you try it once, the other team is going to have some sort of game plan against it in case you try again. However, for this last one particularly, if you're going against smarter players, you can kind of fake the fake, if that makes sense. After you try the strategy once, the other team is going to be super aware about the possibility that you can try it again. Because of this, sometimes when the other team is expecting a fake, they'll hit the brakes right before they would be hitting the ball. But the only time they'll actually do this is if they see that your teammate is sitting back in net. So after you do a fake early on in game, if you get the chance again, you can sort of fake the fake by having your teammate sit back in net while you go and do a normal kickoff and try and power it through them. As for the other 2 kickoffs, since you can do those in 3s, you can even alternate between those ones to try and throw off the other team even more. Like one kickoff you'll be doing a fake, and then the very next one you'll be hitting it before they can even reach it. The key is being unpredictable, and if you can achieve that, you'll be one of the most annoying teams to play against, but you will win, and that's what matters. I hope you enjoyed these new strategies. It's always fun to try out something new, and I think new strategies are a cool way to do it. And it's one of the greatest feelings in this game when you get it to work, so have fun with these. Also, if you end up getting some cool clips with these strategies, be sure to tag me in them on Twitter so I can check them out. And while you're there, go follow Sonics on Twitter too, because I've recently joined them as a content creator and I'm going to be in some of their videos coming soon. And lastly, hit subscribe! 90% of you watching this right now have seen plenty of my videos but aren't actually subscribed to the channel. So please, hit subscribe because yes, it does matter. Other than that, thank you so much for watching and have an awesome day.